Hey, it's the Clockwork Mage, and this broadcast spell is live. Welcome back to a new episode, a new series of Ramblings of a DM. It's where I talk about my experiences as a dungeon master for the past 12 years, and I explain my feelings and how I've been doing things and other things like that so that I can hopefully give my experience to you guys. Now, today we are going to be talking about homebrew worlds. It's something that a lot of DMs strive for. Some people shudder at the idea of it, but I have fallen in love with it. I've had my homebrew world for around 11 years now, closer to 12. I started it pretty early on in my DM career, and I do want to say, do not do that. Do not start a homebrew world early on in your DM career. It was horrible, and if I could have done it differently, I would have started with modules, and I would have gotten a feel for what the game really was as a DM and how to balance things and other things like that. It's caused a lot of problems for me, to be very blunt, but from my experience, I've learned and I've gotten through it. Now, if you are ready to start a homebrew world, then listen up. Hopefully you can avoid the pitfalls that I've fallen into and learn something from me that I've learned over my years of DMing. I've ran countless campaigns, sometimes up to 3 at a time in this same homebrew world. I've made it a living, breathing world. It is everything I've wanted as a DM, and it took a lot of work to get here. But it wasn't just work from me. It was also from my players. My players gave me a lot of ideas, and my players, I have to attribute a lot to them. They are the ones that write the story with me. I wouldn't be a DM without them. So I do want to throw that out there that as a DM, don't feel like everything's on you. The players are writing the story too. But to start you off, I will say the players can't help you start a homebrew world. So to start one, what I did was I started with 3 basic locations, and I had an idea for a quest. I didn't have it very fleshed out, and again, I kind of wish I did. I wish I had more NPCs fleshed out by that point, but I had none. Basically, I relied heavily on improv. It ended up working out, but it could have been better in the end. When it comes to a homebrew world, there's a lot of planning that comes with it, and that's something that you should be prepared for. At this point in my homebrew world, I don't plan. I really do everything based off of improv, but that's because I've been running this world for the past 11, 12 years, like I said, and I know almost every inch of it. And anytime I don't know where they're going to be going, like I haven't planned out that area before, or there's never been a campaign in that area, that's when I take the time to plan again. You should always try to plan for the unknown, or at least have ideas of what the people are and what your party is going to encounter. That's kind of the best way to start things off. Start things off with a quest, a location, and what the party is likely to encounter. You can't plan for everything. Even DMs that use modules, there we go. Even DMs that use modules will have to improvise at times. It's part of the territory. So if you are scared of being a homebrew DM, using a homebrew world, because of the improv, I mean, it's going to happen anyways. It's part of what you're going to do. So don't let that stop you. To emphasize kind of more what I have been doing, I have my little book here that I've used to write down the territories and stuff that I've made to kind of show you what things have become. I'm going to put this on the screen. You'll see it now. But it didn't start off like this. This is very fleshed out, and this is the main continent that I dropped a lot of people on, and it's the very first continent I made. On it, you're going to be able to see there's Phoenix Talon in the top right, and then there are 2 cities with roads connecting. There's one called Haven and Delvenin. Those are the 3 cities I started off with, and everything else was blank. There was nothing on here. The only other thing on here was forest, mountain, and swamp at the very bottom. That's all I had. Everything else came with, honestly, my players. It comes back to them. They decided that, oh, I want to be born in this type of town. Does this town exist on your continent? Why, yes, it does. In fact, here's what it has. Here's what you would experience. And here's kind of what you would know about the other places on the continent. It wasn't me coming up with that. They came up with the idea. I just took it and ran. And don't be afraid to do that as a DM. Don't be afraid to take something from your players and make it more. Make it bigger and better, and help them fall in love with your world through their ideas. It's something I don't see a lot of DMs doing, or talking about, I should say. I don't sit in on many campaigns anymore, but I don't hear DMs talking about using their players' ideas anymore. And that's something that you should really try to incorporate into your, not just your world, but your campaign. The people that are even in your world continuing to be there, or even what I do, I take old player characters that are retired or have found their perfect ending and haven't died, and I keep them in my world. They're NPCs for other players to talk to now, of course with the player's permission. I still use my players' ideas, and they love it. They love seeing old NPCs. They love falling into this idea that the world is living and breathing, and everything they do has an effect. It's something that I don't recommend for all parties, because some players don't want something that have a permanent effect. Some players want something that's more hack and slash, or that's more a one-time thing that they can just play with and destroy in any way they want. And honestly, if that's your table, don't feel bad. If that's what everyone is happy doing, do it. Don't feel like this needs to be something that you need to do, because it's not for everyone. Continuing forward, I would like to touch more on what comes of a homebrew world. A homebrew world doesn't have to be a long-standing thing. It can be a one-time use and made for this hack and slash, but I feel sometimes the effort isn't worth it if that's all your players want to do. You should just run a module, in my opinion, but I'm sure I'll hear differing opinions in the comments about that. Either way, don't be afraid of it, and you should really try to push forward for it. Homebrew worlds can also create more creativity at the table. It, again, opens up the plane for everyone, and it is something that you should try to take advantage of if that's what you're looking for. It can be a wonderful thing, and with that, all of the ideas culminate into something bigger than what you started with. And I'm going to show you an example now, and I'll show it on screen, but here is the whole world that has come about now. This is because players asked me, can I be born on a different continent? Can I come from somewhere else that isn't here? I would ask them, yes. What would it be like? What is kind of your area like? And I'm not expecting them to make a whole continent for me. I expect them to tell me about their hometown, and then maybe I can take it from there and exaggerate it throughout the rest of the continent. Or I can give them another solution. The main thing that you have to do with a homebrew world is work with your players. I keep coming back to that idea, but I don't hear it emphasized enough. Really, really work with your players with these ideas. It is a collaborative effort for all of the fun for everyone to be had. I, again, would be nowhere without any of my players. To wrap up this idea of a homebrew world and anything else, I just want to state, don't be afraid of it. Dive into it. You're never going to start it if you never take the first step. The first step could be a quest idea, or it could be even something from somewhere else. Don't be afraid to be unoriginal. Take ideas from other places and incorporate them into your world in your own way. Do this as a first step, and do that to continue on. Because not everything needs to be original as long as everyone's having fun. I hope everyone's taken something from this, and if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear even some of your homebrew world stories that you guys are really proud to talk about. Now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.